Dr. Subramanian Swamy. We don't know whether Sandip Singh is watching Times Now's broadcast right now, but Dr. Swamy is, and he has put out this tweet. Suspect Sandip Singh should be queried as to how many times he has been to Dubai and why. And look at the choice of word, suspect Sandip Singh, and indeed the behavior is suspicious, Athar, isn't it? Because what explains the call to the ambulance driver on June 16th? A day after the cremation and 2 days after Sushant was found dead in his Bandra apartment. Dr. Subramanian Swamy congratulating Times Now, and he's saying suspect Sandip Singh should be queried as to how many times he has been to Dubai and why. Remember, he has also said that the Dubai angle in all of this must be probed, that there was a Dubai hitman who's behind all of this. All of that is also under the scanner of the agencies. And now this startling disclosure on Times Now. For the first time in the Sushant investigation saga, we have accessed the call data records of Sandip Singh, the man who claims he was best friend of Sushant Singh Rajput, but strangely, very oddly, wasn't in touch with Sushant Singh Rajput for the last 10 months.
There you go, BJP MP Subramanian Swamy reaffirming Times Now's investigation, Swati, and also reiterating that somebody, in fact, in this particular case, the CBI should ask Sandip Singh how many times he's been to Dubai and why. Now, these are questions that Mr. Swamy is raising, of course, but CBI must take note of the CDR records as well. And we're not here to impose anything on the investigation, but these are questions that Mr. Singh needs to come out and answer for himself. If he wants to make sure the needless suspicion is not on him anymore, he just needs to do one thing. Contact Times Now. We'll contact you, Mr. Singh, and you can answer our questions if you have nothing to hide. Aruneel joins us from Mumbai as well. Aruneel, now this latest expose investigation by Times Now also reveals, number one, he was not in touch with Sushant Singh Rajput despite calling him his best friend. He was in touch with the ambulance driver 2 days after Sushant was found dead. These are questions that he needs to answer, and he's been highly reticent to come out and speak to us.
Well, only Sandip Singh from the start has been saying that he was the friend of Sushant Singh Rajput. The family never accepted. In fact, the other friends also said that they have never heard about Sandip Singh, and that Sandip Singh, who was basically hunting for media, wanted media attention. Now when Times Now goes to his house 2 days in 3 days, 2 times in 3 days, he's not attending our calls, he's not answering the tough questions. This is extremely serious and it needs to be probed, because who is this person who called from Dubai to Sandip Singh? Was Sandip Singh basically a plant of the Dubai mafia to get the things done over here? Who told Sandip Singh to call the ambulance as well, basically arrange for the funeral? And also after the crematorium was over, why was he having a conversation with the ambulance attendant? These are some questions that basically raises major suspicion. And that friend who was doing everything, basically misguiding everybody, the police, the media, that friend didn't have a chat with Sushant Singh Rajput for the last 10 months. It raises eyebrows, Athar.